And we are live here. It is Atlanta Sports Radio at zero point 0.1 The Game. I am your host, Wesley, here with Reed Hoffman and Maxwell. Today's topic, we are going to talk about Damian Lillard trade destinations. Reed?
I think Damian Lillard would be a perfect fit for that. Just make a 3-team trade with the Heat, Blazers, and Nets, and you get Ben Simmons. You throw in a couple of trade packages there for the Blazers because they're not taking anything from the Heat. He don't want to give up valuable future pieces. So I think he'd be a great destination for the Nets.
Max?
I think Damian Lillard should go to the Miami Heat. I think he could fit well. I think you need to send him to trade for Kyle Lowry and a couple of other picks. So, but I think if you put him next to Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, I think they can make the playoffs once again and eventually make like the NBA Finals.
Hi, remember to call into the conversation at 1-2-3-4-5-6-7-8-9-0. We have a caller here. Hello.
All right. Hello. This is Ethan. I want to just call to the show. Speak my mind on this. I think personally, don't even put the Nets into this trade. Ben Simmons is basically worth a bag of chips at this point. If you wanted to throw anybody in there, possibly even throw the Hawks in there if you want to get rid of some salary. If you want to get that salary cap, swap Tyler Hero for Damian Lillard, a few picks. Maybe also the Hawks get rid of Clint Capella. Maybe get a player or two off of your hands. I'm not entirely sure what the Hawks will entirely receive from this trade, but maybe the Blazers can end up getting Clint Capella in that trade. Hawks receive somebody else back from that, maybe a big man, I'm not sure, but it does look as though that specific area is what the Blazers are lacking in, and it looks as though they're just trying to go in for a full rebuild. Honestly, throwing the Hawks somebody with one of those old, like those older big man, who can run, block, all that, and he can just. I think personally, I bet a new center should probably be the biggest focus right now for the Trailblazers.
Yeah, absolutely. The Trailblazers haven't had much help at the center position, and especially this year. They are loaded with guards. Shaden Sharp, now you draft Scoot Henderson. You have Damian Lillard still.
Still have Anthony Simons too.
True.
Yeah.
You just have a loaded guard position, so you definitely need to load up on some bigs, and including the Hawks in that trade would actually be very huge for the Trailblazers.
Yeah, Clint Capella heading that way. Am I entirely sure what the Hawks would get back? No. Maybe it could be, stockpile picks. They would have to dump some sort of salary on them. I'm not entirely sure who they would give up. But, because the Hawks apparently, according to some sources, are shopping Capella, I think this would definitely be a great move for all three teams. Lillard gets his request done. The Blazers are able to rebuild nicely, and the Hawks can finally dump off that last bit of salary and start giving their younger guys, like a Kongwu and Johnson minutes.
All right, well, thank you for calling in. We really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Anytime. I'll definitely call in again.
All right, for sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We now got our next topic here, and we have teams that missed the playoffs last year, but we think we'll make it this year. Reed?
Honestly, I really like the San Antonio Spurs. I think Spurs could be maybe a contender if Victor Wembanyama can stay healthy, if he can play very good. But I don't see them winning a championship. I think they can maybe make a playoff push, especially because they have a lot of depth and a good amount of role players. And Greg Popovich is maybe arguably the greatest coach in NBA history, arguably. And he could be, they could be the team to make a little bit of a push, but I don't see them winning this year. But in the near future, I definitely could see the Spurs winning an NBA title.
So you think Wemby as a rookie can get him to the playoffs?
I think he can make them to the playoffs. I think he can definitely make it to the second round. But I think when it comes to conference finals, I don't think his body will be ready for that just because he's just not many tall guys of his stature who are skinny, tall, have made it that well in the NBA with for him injury problems.
How about you, Max?
I would probably say I'd probably have to go with Probably the Indiana Pacers, just because they have some depth on their team. They're young. They got some players and Buddy Hield and all that kind of stuff. So I think the Pacers should make the playoffs. And I think they could have added a little bit more pieces. They would have been able to make it.
Alright, so we got Halliburton and we have Wemby. We're going to cut to a commercial break. When we get back, we'll be discussing new topics. I am Wesley, this is Reed, this is Max, and this has been Atlanta Sports Radio.